Hi, I'm Asnith, and today I am bringing you the third video in my series, my low fat series. Okay, so the goal of this series was to introduce recipes that you could use to substitute a meal that you may eat currently, maybe lunch or dinner, to substitute a meal that was lower in calories. We know that it takes about 3,500 calories to gain a pound. Okay, so during the day we just eat and we don't really think about it, right? So I wanted to bring a low fat meal so that you could substitute maybe a meal that is higher in calories, maybe not as nutritious for you. You could use one of these low fat meals to substitute it. You do that over time, you're reducing the amount of your caloric intake. Reducing the amount of your caloric intake equals weight loss. It's really that simple, if that's your goal. If you just want to get healthier and gain more nutrition in the process, this is also an advantage. I'm bringing you these recipes to help build your health as well as tone your body as far as your health and weight wise. Okay, so I'm going to dive right into this recipe. This recipe is raw chili. Okay, so before I went raw, I ate my chili with beans, like I love beans. Now I find myself relying more so on vegetables to make my chili, and I enjoy it just as much. The thing is that you do want, like once I do the chili and everything, I want to marinate, but I don't necessarily love it sitting in the fridge all night. So sometimes when I prepare this chili, I am going to consume it probably 20, 30 minutes to maybe 2 hours later. So, and I like it at room temperature, so I'll leave it out. So with that being said, I'm going to dive right into this recipe. So for this recipe, I use bell pepper. I use the red bell pepper. This is one red bell pepper, one zucchini, and I already chopped up what I needed. About a cup of corn, about maybe 1/4 cup. You can use 1/4 cup to a half or more of sun-dried tomatoes. Also in my chili, I am going to add jalapenos. I have some carrots. I have chopped up celery. I have maybe like a 1/4 cup of chopped up onion. And so that's going to go in my chili as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my chili sauce. So this is really about 2 tomatoes. I'm going to put that in my food processor along with the sun-dried tomatoes. Now some people, they do soak their sun-dried tomatoes. That'll work just as well. I tend not to soak it because I like it a little bit more chunkier, which is okay with me. But to get it more of a blended creamy sauce, sometimes they soak the sun-dried tomatoes 2 hours up to 2 days. Oh, and also, I like to add in garlic as well. So I want to go ahead and blend the garlic. Well, blend these 3. Now also I want to add, which I forgot to add earlier, this is a chili powder. I only wanted to add 1 teaspoon. Came out to a little more than that. And you just want to blend it. Also, maybe also 1 teaspoon of Bragg's right now as well. So I'll blend all of that. Okay, so that is how I like mine. Not really that smooth. If you want it to make your sauce smoother, you can add a little water and let it go longer. Me, I don't want it to make it as smooth. So with my chili, I'm simply going to start to dump in the vegetables that I chopped up. So I started with the red bell pepper. I'm adding the zucchini. I'm adding the corn. And the jalapenos, carrots. I also chopped up some extra tomatoes, celery, and onions. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that all together. So once I mix that, once I put it all in the bowl, I'm simply just going to go ahead and mix it up. I want to add about a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. And then I want to add half a teaspoon of cilantro. I mean, not cilantro, sorry, cumin. I also want to add some red pepper flakes to it. And that is optional. Some people don't like spice, but me, I tend to love spice. So I'm going to take what I blended in the food processor as well. And I'm going to dump that onto the chili. It smells good. So you can see how I have the sauce. I'm simply just going to mix that in. So this is how I like mine. If you wanted yours more saucy with the tomatoes, instead of using 2, you can use about 3 to 4. I kind of feel like once I have the tomatoes in, because I have them chopped up and blended, they could run a little bit. And I don't like for my chili to really be runny. So you just continue to mix this. And if I had time, I would let it marinate for about 20 minutes because you would see just the vegetables, everything starting to like come together. But since I don't have a lot of time, I'm just going to go ahead and show you it. And that's how it looks. Huh. So, if I'm tasting, I can see it needs a little bit more brads. I would just add another tablespoon. But you should salt to taste it the way your taste buds are more acclimated to. I tend to like the taste of the vegetables a little more. The longer I go raw, the more I like to just taste the vegetable itself rather than it being soaked with, with sauce and everything. It tastes just as good to me as it is. So I'm going to run through these ingredients for you one more time. I used 1 red bell pepper. I used 1 zucchini. I used like a cup of corn. I used 1 jalapeno. I used like a 1/4 cup of onion. I used a 1/4 cup of sun-dried tomatoes, which I blended with 2 tomatoes and about 3 garlic cloves all together. In there, I added 1 teaspoon of chili powder, but you could add 1 tablespoon. It depends on how strong you want your seasoning. I also added 1 teaspoon of the Bratt's liquid amino. Once I blended the sauce, I set that aside and I dumped in all the vegetables into this bowl. Well, this is not really a bowl, but this glass container. And voila, there you have it. I will let that sit for maybe about 20 minutes to 2 hours or more. I'm just going to taste it again to see how salted it is, I guess. That was perfect. So to get that seasoning, I used 2 teaspoons of the Bratt's liquid amino. 1 teaspoon of the cumin, like half a teaspoon and 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and also red pepper flakes. So I hope that you would choose to try this recipe, because in trying new things, you learn new things. You learn a better way to apply, or a better way to reach your goal. If you would change anything in this video, let me know. If you would add anything in this video, let me know. If you're just looking for ways to kind of better your health, you're looking for different ways you can eat, shoot me a message or notate it on my Facebook page or my internet page or my YouTube. I'm trying to get it out, but I can't get it out. YouTube page. Because I didn't get here overnight. It was through trial and error and constantly practicing, which I continue to do. So if I can help you in any way, let me know. Until next time, have a great night.